Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies, it has been 9 months since I started this project, and in that time, I have done absolutely nothing. If you see the channel, you'll see that there's one other video, and it was done 9 months ago, and I have not done anything since. So, this is a little update on the Bike Throom, what I call Bike Hike 2026, which is myself, Bike Throom, trying to hike the Pacific Crest Trail with an old buddy. So, quick introduction. As I said, I'm going by Bike Throom. It is, as I call it, a nom de plume. It's a pen name. It's an alter ego, an internet name I made up for some of my antics at one point in time. I am a 60-year-old man. I had an aortic dissection, which is a medical situation. It's most commonly known as what killed the actor John Ritter, if you're old enough to remember that, which a 60-year-old man happens to be that old. But it's kind of a weird thing, kind of unknown, hard to diagnose at times, so it can be kind of dangerous. I like to word it as I had the good kind of aortic dissection. Mine didn't totally rupture or anything. Had to undergo some procedures. I had a very large stent graft put in my aorta to hold the walls together, kind of ish. And then I also had a bypass where they took my subclavian artery, which is the one that goes out the left arm that you often feel your heart attack set in on, and they had to move it away from my aorta, which is what it usually branches off of, and they moved it up here, and it now goes off of my carotid artery. But had all that done in July and August of 2022, and I've been very fortunate that I've been able to get back to a relatively normal life since then. I will be 60 years old tomorrow. I'm making this particular video on January 27th, 2025. So in July, I will be a 3-year aortic dissection survivor. I am 60 years old tomorrow. And the purpose of this video and this channel is to chart the progress towards Bike Hike 2026, which is Bike Throom, attempting to hike the Pacific Crest Trail with an old friend in the spring of 2026. So that's what the channel is all about. I may occasionally add content that is related to other things. Pardon me. But that's going to be the main focus, and if I do some weird little video on other things, then I will obviously separate those out somehow. A little background on the Pacific Crest Trail attempt. One of my old high school friends, there's a group of 6 of us now. There were 7, and one passed away about 2 years ago. We still keep together. We started off with an email thread many moons ago that one of my friends got started, and then when the cell phones and texting came along, we have a text thread that we still keep in touch with. It's 6 of us, as I said, that graduated from Rushville Consolidated High School in Rushville, Indiana in the years 1982 and 1983. And we were all different levels of friends back then, some of us closer than others and some of us in slightly different groups, but we all were rather connected, and over the years we've just kind of stayed connected and are probably closer now than some of us may have been even in high school. But one of the friends, who shall remain nameless at this point, because I will leave it up to him if he wants to join in on this and participate and disclose his name or real name, or if he wants to have an alter ego. But he has been planning this for several years. He did some marathons for a while, did, some running, half marathons, whatever. I think he's done the rim to rim hike a couple times, meaning the Grand Canyon, activities like that. So he's been very active in a lot of outdoor endurance-y kind of things for quite some time, and he had decided that when he retired, he was going to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. And he had talked about it a little bit on and off over the years, but he started talking about it a lot more about 2 years ago, and I've always lived a slightly offbeat lifestyle and haven't done a whole lot of normal office job kind of work in my life, so I've had a lot of freedom throughout life. I've moved around a lot. Done a lot of service industry work. I am a semi-retired chiropractor at this point. I got my chiropractic degree at one point and have run a couple of those offices. Um, but I've always just kind of managed to manipulate life so that I had a lot more freedom than most people. Unfortunately, I never married or had children, which I always wanted to do, but it just never happened. So at some point, I talked to my friend and basically said that I would like to try to do the hike with him. Pardon me. And he was actually kind of pleased and excited about it. So we've started planning to do the Pacific Crest Trail hike in the spring of 2026 together as much as possible. We know we will separate at times and go our separate ways at times and move at different paces at times, but we're kind of trying to set everything up together to get started together and see where it goes from there. My apologies. I'm currently in Savannah, Georgia, and every couple years in Georgia they have a pollen explosion of some sort that gives me allergy issues, which I'd never had throughout my life. So it's very odd for me, but yeah, I will probably be coughing and clearing my throat at the very least, annoyingly throughout this video, for which I apologize. So anyway, that was the origin of deciding that I wanted to try to do the Pacific Crest Trail. I do like pushing myself. I do like trying crazy things that not everybody can do. And this is kind of right up that alley. Chris is much more organized. He's brilliant. He's hilarious. I'm hoping he will come on board on the channel with me and we'll make some videos together before we get started on the hike, because he's very entertaining, very brilliant, very engaging. I'm sure he'll be a lot of fun to watch. And he's also more successful than me. So he's got a retirement fund and he's prepped for this and financially prepped for this and prepping for this and buying equipment. I'm kind of more seat of my pantsing it because, as I said, I haven't necessarily had a normal professional career throughout my life, and my finances are in a little bit different state than his. But so part of my plans for how I was going to be able to do this was that I was going to sell everything I own to try to pay off some debts I have and have the money in the bank so I could take off for 6 months or so and be prepared for this hike. Chris is, as I said, he's very similar. He's from my graduating class, so we're about the same age. He, oddly enough, just about a year ago, even though he's this fitness guy I talked about, started feeling really kind of down and sluggish, and he ended up having to go in the hospital, and he went to, I guess, basically to the doctor or ER, I'm not sure which, and they pretty much took him in immediately and put some stents in. He was suffering from some blockages. So he also is kind of more dedicated to this project than ever because he wants to prove that he's back and he can do it. Like I said, I kind of think it'd be neat to prove that even with my aortic dissection, I can do it. So we both kind of have that as a little bit of a motivating factor, although he had the idea long before his situation arose, and I never really thought about it until after I decided I was going to do this. But I do think I'm going to try to emphasize to other aortic dissection survivors that I am going to do this, and if I'm successful, obviously that will be encouraging to a lot of them. So that's where this all started, where it came from. Let's see. As I said, part of my first plan was to try to start selling off everything I own to help finance this. I was actually doing pretty well financially a couple of years ago. I sold my last chiropractic office in 2017, and I kind of goofed off and traveled for about 2 years and then ran out of money and started going back to work, just kind of bartending and finding some odd jobs. During that time, I had discovered this job called contingency driving for FedEx, and basically we would go to towns that needed extra help and deliver FedEx packages just like a normal local delivery guy. But if you're willing to pack up and travel wherever they need you, they pay you pretty well to do it, and they put you up in a residence inn kind of hotel, which is my lovely studio here is my room in just such a place in Pooler, Georgia, which is just outside of Savannah. And so I don't have any bills while I do it, and I get paid pretty well, and I work a lot. I don't have time to go out and spend money a lot. So it always helped my finances. And I discovered this during COVID because they were having a hard time getting people to do it. People were afraid of being a delivery guy and running from house to house, and I wasn't too concerned about that. mainly because I've always had a very strong immune system, not because I didn't believe in COVID or anything. Um, so I started doing that at that time, and had gotten my finances between selling my office and paying off some bills, and then doing that for a while. I was doing pretty well financially, and then in 2022, my mother kind of had what I call a cliff dive, where kind of out of the blue and very suddenly she started having some serious cognitive problems, which over the course of literally about 4 months went from my sister and I being a little concerned and getting her a few doctor's appointments to I had to quit my job, and move back to Indiana to try to help my mother and stepfather kind of look out for themselves, and then reestablish themselves in assisted living centers, and just kind of help get that life stabilized. In the process of that, I went from, again, this job that was paying pretty well and letting me live without bills. I had to go back to living a very normal lifestyle when I was taking care of my mother, and my finances kind of went to heck again. So after things kind of seemed stabilized, I just simply told my sister that she kind of had to take over for a while, even though she lives in Georgia, because I had to get back to work and try to dig myself out of debt. So I still will be trying to sell off everything I own, but it's difficult because everything I own is in Michigan, and I am doing my traveling gig, which I hope they will keep me pretty much employed until I go to make my hike. But I may use this channel to occasionally bring up or mention or show a few items that are for sale, and if you want to help support the cause, then by all means, you can buy things, and that money will be going towards paying off my debts and building up my savings account for this Pacific Crest Trail adventure. So that is where I am, how I'm trying to get this all put together. I kind of mentioned the current job. I am in the Savannah, Georgia area doing daily deliveries for FedEx. When I was thinking about committing to this and knowing kind of my financial situation, I immediately wanted to come back to this job. Guess I should have taken something for that an hour or two ago so I could talk better right now. Mainly because it's a very active job. You know, you're jumping in and out of a truck all day. You're carrying packages, which range, of course, from an envelope up to a 150-pound package. And you're walking back and forth, walking up and down driveways, walking up and down sidewalks. Basically, I knew that it would get me in shape for this, get my walking muscles in very good shape, and again, help the finances, help the physical part of the job. And that part is going great. I went back to Michigan to try to organize my life a little bit and prep things for selling. And within about a week of getting there, some of the people I'd contacted about going back to FedEx got a hold of me and needed me right away. So I didn't really have time to set up my mass sales of my former lifestyles before I got back on the road. But that's how I'm hoping to finance all this. So that's part of the fun adventures that I may post pictures of once in a while. I will probably start trying to post more often and mention work and how many steps I got in that day, or how many stops and deliveries I made that day, things like that, just as part of my training log. Let's see what else. It has worked, I will say. My weight's probably down from, if you watch the first horrible video that I posted on this channel to now. I'm going to wager I'm down. I'm guessing I was at least 255, probably around the time I made those videos, that video. And right now I'm kind of in the mid 220s, and have been trending downward even more. The last time I stopped doing this in July of 22, I was down to about 200 pounds, which is basically lighter than I'd been since probably my mid 20s. But yeah, obviously, the less weight you carry, the better you can hike up and down mountains on the Pacific Crest Trail as well. So I do love this job. I have a great time doing it. Travel, meet different people, see different places, even though, again, I don't have a whole lot of free time to just go exploring. But all that's working. It's working very well. I think I average about 16 to 20,000 steps a day. And again, a lot of that's climbing in and out of my truck and carrying packages while I'm doing it. It's a very good fitness-related job. And if you're the kind of person that wants to find a good job to work to prep you to do the Pacific Coast Trail or the Appalachian Trail or Continental Divide Trail or any of those big hikes, it would be a good one to do. If you are capable, you kind of have to be one of the better FedEx drivers because they won't just take you on if you're not able to go from town to town and pretty much start a route and be moving as quickly as a normal driver would that was from that area right away, and hopefully even quicker than an average driver would in that area anywhere you go. So it's kind of a cream of the crop kind of a job, even though I'm not necessarily that. I think they kind of like me as a mascot because of my age, and I'm kind of self-deprecating and a smartass, and I think I just kind of keep people chuckling and kind of amazed that I'm still standing. So, but anyway, I would say if you're looking to do some big outdoor adventuring, this is a great job to take that allows you to save money and to get yourself in shape for such outdoor adventuring. Let's see, where else to go with this? I guess, yeah, mainly just that's kind of a little bit more of the introduction. I will, as I said, try to post a lot more regularly. Hopefully build up a little bit of a repertoire or a rapport with you folks. I will get much better at making videos over time, obviously. I will remember to take something for these allergies, although they usually don't last very long. This has been about 2 weeks of this now, which is longer than I've ever had to deal with before. Pardon me. That was a yawn, not an allergy. But I'll try to keep things entertaining. Hopefully, as I said, I'll get Chris on here some, and you guys will love him. But obviously, it does help me out if I have more people watching these. Might lead to whether it would be some sponsorships, some gear, some equipment. Please write in if you're experienced in this area and you've got some gear suggestions, training suggestions. If any of that, again, if you see anything that I ever post that you might be interested in buying, let me know. I have a massive old retired Catholic church up in Michigan that is my home. That literally is even for sale. It's not converted at all. It's an old church building and looks like an old church building and would need to be converted to whatever you wanted to do with it. But it's pretty cool. It'll get posted on here at times. But again, check back on the channel a lot. I will try to post a lot more. I will try to post every day, actually. And hopefully it will be something that people will find entertaining or interesting, even if it's just to laugh at me, which I'm fine with. And we'll build up a little bit of a following, and maybe I'll get some advantages from that. So, as everybody always says, along those lines, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, like the channel, whatever you do. I'm new at this, but do all those things that show that you watched the video and might watch more in the future, and maybe like the video and maybe we'll mention it to your friends. Please do all those things so that YouTube will love me and treat me very nicely. So yeah, like, subscribe, share, etc., all that. And tune back in soon. And I thank you very much. And again, I promise I will try to get much better at my video making so that in the future they are a little bit smoother than this. All right? Have a great night. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.